Welcome back to Kettlebells and Cocktails. I'm your host, John, back with my bestie, Nikki. How are you, Nikki?
I am so good. How are you doing?
I'm glad to be back home and not traveling.
Yeah,
I
that's a
feel like I've
quick
been doing
little
nothing but
quick
traveling
turnaround.
since like November. And not that I'm not enjoying the traveling. It's a lot, So
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. But it was really nice to see you.
it was fun being in person. And I got this fancy sweatshirt. Look at this thing. Ooh,
Is it your favorite?
it is. It's got pockets like an old man. I just love pockets and it's comfy.
I get
And
it.
it's cold here in Cleveland today, so I can just put it on and snuggle in. It's great.
I got one for Matt and he's been thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, he loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good. How are you feeling after the event?
Great. Totally
Yeah,
great. Yeah. How
I'm
about
glad. Well,
you?
I'm just now. Today's the first day I have felt normal. I'm not kidding you. I was wrecked, and I mean utterly wrecked. We'll talk about the event, but like just my overall body was not in a good spot for a few
Mm,
days. I mean, it wasn't just the event. You still had air travel and Ubers, and you sleep in a hotel. You're not sleeping as much, so all that contributed. And I might have had one or two drinks, so I'm sure that didn't help.
the
And
tequila.
the tequila, it was rough.
Yeah,
Um,
I get it. I get it. Well, let's back up a little bit just in case this is I don't know, someone's first time hearing us. I don't know.
right.
But John and I went out to Chicago for the HYROX North American Championships. Both of us got suckered in to doing the race while we were out there. We were meant to just go like check it out, talk to people, better understand the race, the vibe, figure out if it was something that we wanted to train for. And both of us ended up running it. So we have a lot to discuss about the experience and what it's like. But before we get to all of that, it's a big day in the CrossFit world.
It is 23.1 kicked off.
The
Were you
Open.
shocked?
I had a feeling that it was a redo, like a old workout redo based off of the cryptic Dave Castro clue. That was my guess. It was like something was going to be a retest, but I
It,
had no idea which one.
Dave had a clue.
Yeah, he posted a clue. It was a red arrow going left, like a
Yeah.
stoplight arrow, like
For some
no turn
reason I
on
didn't
red.
see it. That's weird.
Oh, bizarre. I will have to text them. I'll
Mhm.
screenshot them for you and fill you in since I know you can't see his post.
Hashtag still blocked for how long's it been now? Gosh, it's been a couple of years.
Couple years. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Wah, wah. But yeah, so he's back to posting his cryptic clues, which never make sense. But this time totally made sense, I thought. Because when I saw that, I was like, pause, rewind. It's something we've done before, but I didn't know what.
what's your opinion on the workout for
I
it
think
to
it's
be
an
the first workout of the Open?
I think it's great. I think it's an excellent test of fitness. I think it is a really even medium between like long and short. Like it's not a traditional chipper. There's a lot in there. There's a lot in there that tests uh, a little bit of traditional endurance, a little bit of muscular endurance, a little bit of, ends with that high skill gymnastics bit that most of us are not going to get to or get through. And I don't know, it's classic CrossFit. If you're good at CrossFit, if you're the fittest on earth, you probably crush this workout. I love everything about it, except for the fact that I obviously am not going to be able to do muscle ups. But other than that, it's totally fine.
Why won't you be able to? Can you not do muscle ups?
No, and I certainly can't do them now out of practice and quite thick.
It's never too late to cram, Mickey. It's never too late to cram.
It might actually be too late for
Head to
this.
the
The hay
gym
is in the
now.
barn. Hay is in the barn. But I gotta say, like, even though I'm horribly even though I'm horribly out of shape and unfit, I have a feeling I might do better in the front part of this than I did in 2014, just from experience alone. So that'll be cool to see.
That will be cool to see.
Yeah.
Very cool to see. I
How
have
about
mixed feelings
you?
about, well, I have
Yeah, tell
mixed
me.
feelings. I like it because I've done it before. I get a chance to see how I did,
Yeah.
or do versus how I used to do it. I can't find my knee socks from 2014, so that sucks. So I can't recreate the same vibe. I had these awesome they
Oh.
were black with green letters on the side, and they said
Wait,
WOD
wait, wait. Wadkilla. We all
Wadkilla.
had them. They
Yeah,
were Life is RX socks,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, not
Yes, I
sponsored,
had them too.
yeah. I had the black Wadkilla socks with the green letters, and I had the army green Innovates. I forget what the number was, but they were, in those days, they only made one. It was like the
Those like
195
they were
or
like F-Light 245s or
something like
whatever.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were
Oh, my
matching.
cheeks hurt from smiling. Oh my
Oh, and it
god.
was awesome. I looked awesome in them. I looked so good in them, like such a douchebag. Um, but I can't find them, so that sucks. But I looked back at my score, and I finished the cleans in like 12:48 or 12:50 something. So I had a minute to do muscle ups, which I could not do in 2014 at all.
Okay, okay.
So that'll be interesting to see. But I've really prepared for this one by also not doing muscle ups for the last 2 years. So
Hmm.
it'll be great. We'll see.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. I actually am really excited to watch Matt do this one because I think he's
Yeah,
going to do really well. And I think this is like such a fun way to celebrate people who've been truly signing up for the Open like year over year.
right.
Because this is a really cool example of, we say it every year. We're like, put in your scores so you can see your scores from previous years and
Yeah.
compare yourself. Like this is a really cool example of that.
I like this one for a number of reasons. I've been a little worried about the Open because I've had this ongoing cough now since like November.
Yeah.
And I messaged my coach yesterday, and I was like, man, like if this doesn't get better, I may have to drop out of the Open. Like it's really impacting me and it's hurting my workouts. And I'm like, but I'm going to hold off and see. I'm like, my problem is I don't want to go to the red line for 3 weeks in a row and like make myself worse and worse and worse. But the good news is this isn't a red line workout,
No, it's not.
so I'm like, thank God, like at least the first one, you don't phone it in, but you should not be laying on the floor gasping when it's over either. Like you are either super elite or you
Yeah.
did it wrong. And I am
Yeah.
not super elite, and I'm pretty good at pacing myself. So I'm feeling okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think this is necessarily a redliney type
Yeah.
workout. And if I were coaching it when I coach it and we do Friday Night Lights this week, um, I will recommend like an 80% pace throughout if possible. And
Well,
I
if
think that
you can't do muscle ups, you better redline it once
it's
you get.
that's exactly right. If you can do muscle ups, or I guess it really depends on your muscle up capabilities, because if you can do them, if you can string a few and you really think that you need time on the back end to get through them, then yeah, maybe 85%
I think
pace.
what I liked most about this is the fact that this is Boz's very first Open where he's programmed all through workouts, and that dude is humble enough to respect the CrossFit Open and the test that we're going to go into. That the very first one he did was a repeat of something Dave programmed. I think that's
Yeah.
really cool. I think it really speaks to who he is. Like he cares more about the test than he does showing off what a great programmer he is.
Yeah, and I think the thing to remember too is that we as a whole, as a CrossFit community, have sort of always been well, maybe not always all in agreement, but we've always looked at the Open as like the true initial test of fitness worldwide. So regardless of who programmed it, I think, the vibe over at HQ is these have all been incredible tests year over year over year, and they all, stand out for their own unique reasons. So regardless of who said it or who did it or who whatever. And it was always a team effort. I mean, everything is the brainchild of Dave, of course, and he's
Right.
brilliant. But everyone was in there giving opinions, testing things. He was watching people do it different ways and then adjusting. So, there's always been many hands in the pot, so to speak.
Well, I'll also say for all you short kings out there that are upset about the rowing and the wall balls and the fact that this is a tall boys workout, don't worry. Next week will probably be like deadlifts and thrusters or something. So,
Snatches. Yeah,
yeah,
of course. Yeah, it'll all even out, my friends. And
yeah,
you short kings have most of the weight when it comes to CrossFit movements.
yeah.
So
Well, right now they're all punching air though, because 60 cal row, toes to bar, and wall balls is not a beneficial workout for those guys. But we'll see.
just wait. Just
Just wait.
wait. if our podiums have showed us anything, it's that CrossFit does not favor the tall, regardless.
Yeah.
So.
Well, for everyone that signed up, go follow them up when you're on the leaderboard. Do hashtag Make Watch Great Again. Follow my custom leaderboard. I'd love to see how many names we could get on there. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it.
You guys
That'd
can
be
all beat
great.
me on leaderboard. I don't think it's gonna be hard to do, but
I will not, but that's okay.
I was asking Ben this the other night on our other show. I'm like, how many people message you during the open when they beat you in a workout to brag about beating you? And he's like, not that many. And I'm like, dude, I get tons. Like, I don't know why people find it a badge of honor to beat the meme lord. Like, why would you want to go beat the meme guy? Like, I'm just some 52-year-old guy in Cleveland, and I don't spend time bragging about my fitness. If anything, it's the opposite. Like,
Right.
I spend a lot of time, talking about my busted shoulder.
Can I like plug your other show for a second real quick?
Sure, go
Because
ahead.
I listened to Scale and Bale with John and Ben. And that episode had me rolling laughing. I was laughing so hard because you said that exact thing. You were like, it's bananas how many people like, get in touch with me and tell me that they beat me in the workout, which is just dumb. And Ben just digging this grave for himself, being like, yeah, John, that's silly because you're not like out there being like, I'm real fit.
Right.
You were like, hey, man, wait. And he was like, well, no, you're like not out there being like a fit guy. You're out there being a funny guy. And you were like, Ben, bro, ouch. And he's like,
he was roasting
keeps
me.
going. He's like, no, I'm just saying, like, you don't claim to be fit. You claim to be like the meme lord. And you were like, just stop.
Yeah,
I was dying laughing. Oh my God.
He has his moments where he's just unintentionally funny.
Totally.
And Ben's like the nicest guy on the planet. He really is one of those people. There are very few people like this, but he's one of them where he goes out of his way to not make fun of people. Like he really doesn't like a lot of people pick on me. He doesn't at all, But when he does stuff like that, it's always unintentional, which makes it even funnier to me. It's the best.
Totally. Well, if it makes you feel better, actually, this will make you feel worse. Nobody reaches out to me to tell me that they beat me because that is just rude, honestly. Maybe because there are so many people that beat me in everything that they're like, it would be a waste of my time to let her know.
Maybe. If everybody saw my score from the HYROX this weekend, I'd have way more people reaching out to me saying they beat me. There's no doubt about that.
I don't know. I feel like that is more of an accomplishment than anything, truly.
Yeah,
Can we talk about it?
Yeah, we can jump into that. Yeah, I'm not sure there's much more we can cover on the Open that the rest of the world's not going to cover. It'll be a fun event. I'm excited for the Open. We'll talk about our scores and how many people beat us on our next show. But
sure. When are you doing it? Let me ask you that. Do you have does your gym do a thing?
We do, but I'm not doing it with the gym. I probably would have done it tomorrow, but my real job, damn it, is crazy busy tomorrow. So I will go in tomorrow night and judge people.
Cool.
And then I'll probably do it Saturday after everyone's gone. It'll be me, Jen, and Tom, and like kind of in the quiet of the gym,
Yep.
So yeah, I'm hoping for Saturday, and then if I get the number of muscle ups I'd like to get, I'm not going to redo it.
Okay.
But if I don't, then I'm doing it again probably Monday. So
yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Okay. I every single year, with the exception of the last 2 years, I have redone every single open WOD, and I've been doing the Open since 2011. 2012, 2011. I can't remember. 7 minutes of burpees. That was my first Open.
2012. That was 2012.
Thank you. And then I didn't redo them when I was pregnant, and then I didn't redo them last year because I was very newly postpartum. This year, I have no fitness goals at all, but I might go back to redoing them only because the way I look at it is I am literally already working out. Like usually I'll do them on Friday or Saturday, and then I am back in the gym on Monday. So if I am already there and there's a chance to retest, not because I need to prove it to anyone or not because I have like hubris on the leaderboard or anything like that, but just for my own sake, I'm literally already going to work out. Why would I not do the thing that could teach me a lesson?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
I think it's a good point.
Yeah, so we'll see. Can I plug my gym real quick? This is
Of
really
course.
fun. And I think I've said it on the show before, but CrossFit Windrose in Rhode Island, where Dave Cardenas is the owner and programmer, and he's just brilliant. He's a genius. He, for the last few years, has been encouraging us to sign up for the Intramural Open, which is really fun. So it's obviously like you sign up for the CrossFit Open to get your name on the leaderboard. But within the gym itself, we have an intramural competition where he divides us all into 3 big teams, and we do the workouts at a different time every week. So like this week it's Friday Night Lights. Next week we'll do it on Saturday morning. And it's really fun because you get to collect points for your team in a whole bunch of different ways. That is not just winning the workout, because that's not fun. I mean, you do get points if you're the top scorer in the gym for that particular workout, but you get points for like posting a stupid challenge on social media. Like this week, I think it's like one-legged burpees or something, and you have to like tag the gym. You get points for your team for when you judge other people. You get points for your team. You get points for your team when you sign up for the Real Life Open. You get points to take the judges course. Like there's just like all sorts of ways. And then after the 3 weeks, we actually have a 4th week in our Intramural Open, and it's the Solo Cup Olympics, where we come back into the gym on a weekend and we play like a whole bunch of drinking games.
I
And then
would
that's
be a
another way to
gold
get,
medalist
yeah,
in the
huh?
solo cup Olympics. It's the
That's when
rare one I would win.
the points shake up dramatically during Solo Cup Olympics.
Yeah.
And there's also non-drinking options, of
Mm.
course.
Yeah,
But
well,
there's like a whole
tonight
bunch of Flip Cup and fun stuff.
it's Athletic Brewing, NA Upside Down Golden, because
Yeah.
we're in the open week and no alcohol in open week.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
Very sad.
So that's our plan for the Open. Good
That
stuff.
sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. I really enjoy it. Really enjoy it every year. And everyone gets silly. You know, we have like Facebook groups for each team, and we like order shirts and do stupid stuff. So it's a good
Love it.
time. It brings the gym together. Meet a lot of people. Like people I don't like, I don't know morning people. And it's just fun when they're on my team. I get to judge them. Good
Well,
stuff.
I think that's the best part. Best part of the open is the community.
Yeah.
You know, the workouts are fun. The test is good. Like it's good to have the test, but if you're not experiencing Friday Night Lights at least a few times in your CrossFit career, you're just not doing it right. You
Yeah.
know.
Totally.
All right, HYROX. Let's talk about
Oh
HYROX.
my goodness. Okay, so that's how I sort of started the show, by like the whole thing escalated quickly because backstory, John, you met the HYROX guys in Miami,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And it was sort of just this like, there's a lot of synergy between what you guys do in CrossFit and what we do at HYROX. You want to come check it out. And I would think we were like, yeah, totally, because we had heard of it and didn't fully understand what it was. And the way that the guys explained it sounded cool. And like, yeah, it does sound like a lot of synergy, but like, eh, what is it? It's what? So we went to check it out, and we were supposed to just like cruise around, watch it happen, talk to people, maybe like get insight from CrossFitters on how or why they changed over from CrossFit to HYROX that weekend. And then something happened.
Then they made us compete.
And they made us compete.
Well, I had never, I had heard of HYROX, but I'd never seen it. And I knew if know a few athletes that have done it. We know Hunter McIntyre that's been on the show a couple of times,
Yep.
and he's a champion for them. Like he's won several, and so I just thought it was like OCR. I'm like, how are
Same. Yeah. I thought
like,
it was like a Spartan, but instead of like obstacles every so often, you did like little mini workouts. That's kind of
yeah,
how I envisioned it.
yeah, and I guess to some degree that's a fair comparison. I mean, we'll give kind of our honest opinion. It's a little bit of a fair comparison, but way more accessible.
Yeah.
Like the movements are not nearly as complex or something like any Tom, Dick, or Harry can walk off the street and you should be able to do sled pushes, burpees, farmer's carries, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so it was different in that regard. But man, I underestimated. I mean, truthfully, and I don't underestimate a lot of stuff, Nikki, but I underestimated how hard that thing was as a solo. For a solo
Hmm.
run.
So here's what happened. So, like 2 days before we were set to fly out and check it out, we get an email from Keith, who runs Fit as PR, who is our host for the weekend and was just wonderful. Him and his wife are great people and really do a great job in the marketing PR space within this the sports field. So he sends an email and he's like, hey, the women's champion, Lauren Weeks, who just won a couple weeks ago, same race over in Europe, she has volunteered to take Niki through the course in the women's doubles part of the event. So like teams of two, same-sex teams of two, where you do all the running together, but you split the work. And we'll explain in a second what the whole shebang is. And I was just like, oh shit. Because I'm not fit. I'm not anything. And this looks really hard. And I just remember standing in my kitchen being like, Matt, I can't say no. Because this is like, this woman is going to run. She just won in Europe. She's going to run again in North America to see if she can win there. And then literally like 2 hours later, wants to do the race with me. And it was her idea. Like, she's a CrossFitter at heart. She listens to the show. She saw that we were going to come out there, and she reached out being like, oh, Nikki's going to be there. She should do it with me. I was like, God damn it. All right. So I guess I'm going to say yes. And then John, you just kind of had FOMO.
Yeah, that was a mistake on my part looking back on it. I'm like, I'll do it. Why not? Nikki's doing it. I'll do it. I'm always up. Is there a medal? Yes, I'm in. Like, that's my mindset. You're going to give me a medal? You ever want to get me to do something, Niki? Give me a medal. I'll do.
What is it about anything. A medal? What is it?
I don't know. I'll do almost anything for a medal. Like,
okay.
It's like, half marathon, full marathon, trail races. There's a medal? Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Why not? It's just like, I like getting prizes, like participation trophies. I'm all in,
Do you keep them all in one place in your house?
Yeah, I have a medal board. It's great.
You do?
I do. I'll snap a photo for you sometime.
Oh, can you? That'd be great. I like
it's actually more sentimental than that, though, because I also have my daughter's medals on it from when she was running. So I have like a lot of her bibs, and I don't have all her medals anymore because I think her mom made her own medal board. But
cool.
I do have like several of her bibs from when she was running AAU track or high school track or middle school, or a few first places in there. So
I love that. I only have one bib framed, and it's the bib from the New York City Marathon. And actually, I didn't even frame it, but Dave, who owns our gym, framed it for me because he's a gem. It's a very sweet gift. Yeah.
Well, anyway, big mistake when I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Why not? Let's go.
Right. So then we get there and we meet the HYROX guys for dinner the night before the race, and John's into the tequila, as you do.
Wait, let me preface this. This is the night before the race. The flight was the night before the race. And so I get to the airport early. I got 2 hours airport. So I'm like, I'm going to sit at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a couple of tequilas there. and then, because I'm bougie AF and I won't fly coach, I had upgraded my flight. So now I'm in first class. And I'm not kidding you. Me and this guy next to me ran them out of bourbon on the flight. That's a true story.
Ooh.
True story. I didn't have that many, fair enough, but they still ran out. And so like I was pretty buzzed when we got off the plane, and then we get to the hotel and we start drinking again. So I had a good, I don't know, 5 or 6 drinks, like just having a good time, like in my mind, not even thinking I'm doing the full thing. Like I was just, I don't know. I thought it would be, I'll just go out and I'll do it and I'll lollygag. It won't be that hard. And
right. And you had times you were like, I should be able to ski 1,000 meters in like 2 minutes. I should be able to whatever. I mean, not 2 minutes. You know what I mean? But you like had times, you like planned it all out. And meanwhile, I was just shitting my pants because I was like, there's no way I can do this. I'm going to get rhabdo. Like, I am not fit. I am not anything. There's no way I can do this, because at dinner, as John's in the tequila and I'm having myself a delicious giant cheeseburger and beer, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, we entered you in the ruck division.
That's right. You had to wear the weight vest. I totally forgot about that.
Like, you guys, no one is listening, because they're like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'm like, no one is listening to me when I tell you guys that I truly, like, why no one's ears are open. This is bad. This is going to be real bad. Someone's going to have to peel me off the floor. And it was great too, John, because after our night and we never see each other and we're like having a good time and we stay up kind of late and we're, having dinner and drinks, like you had to run the race at like 9:40 in the morning or something stupid like that.
That was my critical mistake. So I'm making it sound like I was sloppy drunk. I wasn't even close to that.
No, not at all. Oh my God,
like
no.
My drinking was spread out from like I don't know. I mean, I got to the airport at like 3. So from like
Yeah.
3 to 10:30, right? And so it's kind of a long period of time. Again, not thinking about what was going on. And then they go, "Oh, by the way, you start tomorrow at like 9:45 or 9:50."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Oh, this is."
Mm,
Yeah, because now I also know myself. I've done plenty of races, and I know, well, now I'm not gonna sleep.
right.
And so now I have a really bad combination of I've got too much alcohol in my system. I gotta get up early. I'm not gonna have sleep. Like, I'm like, all right. I'm just kind of praying at this point that it's not gonna be hard. That was my prayer that went unanswered, completely unanswered.
Okay, can you recount, and I can pull it up if we don't have it perfectly. Can you recount what the format is?
It is,
Explain to the
yes,
people.
it is
Okay.
burned into my brain, Nikki.
Okay, explain.
All right. So it's a lot of running.
That's
Basically,
fact.
so for you CrossFitters, think of it like an 8-round workout because that's basically
Yeah.
what it is. You start with a 1,000-meter run, and so paint the picture. You're in a tunnel, and it's really cool. Like, again, this is just an honest review. I know they paid us to come out there, but I'm gonna give you a real honest review of how I felt for the whole thing because I didn't love the whole thing, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna do it again. But you're in this tunnel, loud music playing, TVs. They got a hype person in there.
Yep.
I don't remember her name, but she was great, and she
Daniela.
was high
She's great.
energy.
Yeah.
Dude, she was high energy all I don't know, they must put her on uppers or something because she was, like,
You know
crazy
what?
energy all day.
That job, hold on, side story. That job is so hard. I know we've had Logan on the show. Logan Vanderpool is one of my best friends. She's an MC for CrossFit. She has MC'd HYROX before as well. And that job, man, if you guys ever want to know what it's like, just send her a slide into her DMs. Oh my God, can you imagine? She's going to kill me. But just like it takes so much skill to be like hype and happy and also like understand the track and like learn
Right.
everybody's name and just like bananas work. So Daniela did a great job. Anyway,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, so, anyway,
Oh,
so
a
they got the
lady
loud
bug.
music playing, they give you a 10-second countdown, and then you're off and running, and now you're on a track, it's all indoors, so it's an indoor, totally flat track, which is great, and you come around the first turn, and there's a big jumbotron. You're wearing a timer or a chip
Like
on
a
your
chip
heel, on
timer.
on
Yeah.
your ankle. Yeah. So, you look like you've got a ankle bracelet on. So, all the girls think you're a bad boy. It's great.
Hey.
And hey, so when you come around the corner, you cross the timer and your name flashes on the jumbotron and tells you where you are in the race. So this is how you don't get lost on an indoor track, which shockingly enough is pretty hard. It's pretty easy to do. So it'll say it. So in my case, it said John Woolley run, which means you just stay until it tells you to do something different. So when you come back around on your second loop, then it'll tell you station 1 or event 1, something like that. Which means when you come back around, there's an indoor or like it's like a tent, or what would it be
It's like an
called? It's just like an
archway that says in.
archway. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a big balloon. And you come through this thing, and then you have to find the first event. First event was 1,000-meter ski erg, which is exactly what it sounds like. You just got to sit there and ski erg for 1,000 meters. So you're on this thing for 4 minutes or so. When you get off the ski erg, you have to come back out, and in that same area where you came in, there's an out archway. So that distance is significant. So you're doing 1,000 meters on each run, but the distance in between the events is not an insignificant distance. So by the time the race is over, you didn't actually run an 8K, you ran like an 8.6 or 8.7K.
Yeah.
And it's really changes your time based on how fast you move between events. So it's just, kind of a fair warning if you ever decide to do one of these things, because I was not moving significantly fast in between events. What's interesting as a CrossFitter though, and if you go back and look at your split times, like I'm pretty good on the ski erg and the rower and like any of the ergs, but they're counting your time from the time you came through the indoor and through the outdoor. So your ski erg time is much longer than however long you were actually on the ski erg. They're counting that kind of full distance. So, or whenever you come out of the event, maybe is a better way to think of it. So just keep that in mind. So like my ski erg time wasn't 4 minutes. It was like 4:30 something,
Mm-hmm.
it just looks weird on the split times when you're used to what those times are. When you finish the ski erg, you do another 1,000-meter run or 1K. You come back in for event 2, which was, it was god awful, sled push. Now, let me tell you about the sled push on the RX weight, Nikki. I'm pretty good on a sled. And I say that humbly. Like, I do a decent amount of sled pushes, and I'm moderately strong. Like, I'm not a tiny dude, you know?
No, you're
And
so big.
I got
Remind me to
behind
tell
that
you a
thing.
story about that later.
Oh, well, so I get behind this thing. So here's the thing. It was a 50-meter sled push. So I get behind this thing. I take one step, and I immediately knew I was screwed. I'm like, oh, this sucks. It's so heavy. So I go down the first length unbroken. Turn around, come back. I get about halfway, stop, take a smart break. I'm like, I got this. I'm gonna give myself a few seconds. That way I can run hard when I get off this thing because I'm not a rookie. I push the rest of the distance. I turn to the head judge. I'm go, where do I run out of here? And he's like, what are you talking about? You have 2 more laps to go, buddy. And I'm like, excuse me?
Pardon?
He's like, yeah, you got to go down and back again. I'm like, it's 4 laps, not 2. And he's like, yes. I'm like, are you shitting me? Like, this time I'm arguing with him. I'm like, are you shitting me? He's like, no, I am not shitting you. I'm like, seriously, don't screw with me. He's like, I'm not, dude. You got to do 2 more. I'm like, oh, this sucks so bad. And now I know I'm in a bad place. So you got to do the sled push. It was also like, here's a complaint. If they're listening, if you guys listen to HYROX, here's Willie's complaint. You're going to change your whole format over this. It was more carpet than grass. Does that make sense? Like, it didn't feel like AstroTurf, so it didn't slide like it does on AstroTurf. And if you're not in exactly the right position on that sled, it did not move at all. And it's not because I'm weak, it's because it did not move on that turf, whatever it was.
Okay, an unpopular opinion. I kind of like that. Because you do have to find the sweet spot, and it's just one more skill that you need to kind of like figure out within HYROX.
I figured it out after 3 3/4 sled pushes.
I watched you push it. It was all good.
Yeah, it was not fun. I did not enjoy that. So then you do another 1K. Also not fun. At this point, you're getting tired because now you're 3K in. Then you got to do a sled pull. Lighter weight, thank God, because if it had been the same weight as a sled push, 0 chance that would have happened. And they gave good coach. Like the event organizer, Mo, who we had on the show, was in Douglas. We're both like kind of wandering around watching me, shouting instruction. Because
shouting at you.
Yeah, because your boy didn't read any instructions beforehand.
No, that was the other thing. Is like we literally jumped in. Like, we didn't get athlete briefings, we didn't get packets, we didn't do shit. We were just like, yeah, let's just.
Here's how blind I went into it. I'm like, I'm going to run the first 1K behind somebody who's done this before and just follow them into the first event, so I know exactly where to go in. Like, that's a true story. So I was really blind. You do the sled pull, and you have a kind of a box in which you can stand with them, but you can't leave the box. And so they taught me very quick, lean back into it and pull as you're leaning back. That wasn't super hard. It was just a lot of work. And again, it was 4 times, not 2. So that sucked. And very difficult and way slower than I thought it was going to be. Way slower. So that wasn't fun. I guess I take the bag. It was fun. It was different, something I don't train a lot. Another 1K run. Then you come in and do, what's the next event? Was it the row? 1K row?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. 1K row was event 4. And that was actually okay. I mean, I'm used to doing a 1K row. That part was actually funny for me. Like,
why?
Because I'm a CrossFitter who rows a lot. And, I'm going to say this kind of humbly. I'm a decent rower. The problem is the guy next to me was rowing like he was trying to pull the chain out of the rower. He's like giving it one of these huge, like he's kind of humping the rower, Yeah. It's the best. By the way, we have this a little out of order. I'm going to come back. But
yeah, anyway. I just saw that it was actually burpee broad jumps before rowing, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to those. So anyway, so the people around me were rowing. It was funny to watch them row, it was just humorous to me because I'm used to rowing, but I didn't go off any faster than them, so I shouldn't have made fun, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah. So 1,000-meter row, and then if we were in the right order, burpee broad jump. So it was 80-meter burpee broad jump, which on paper doesn't sound that long, but they had it all in a straight line, and when you look at
All
it in a
at
straight
once.
line, it looks like a freaking mile, like it was
Yep.
forever. I had 2 complaints here. The first one is they had cameras everywhere, like on the sides, and so they're literally taking photos of you as you're doing burpees. And I don't know if you've ever had a photo of yourself doing a burpee broad jump, but none of them come out good. None. I mean, don't get me wrong, the photograph itself is good. The subject matter, not so good. Everyone looks like an idiot doing burpee broad jumps. There's
Wait.
nothing you can do about it.
Side note. So I was taking video of John while he was working out, and we put together a video blog that we'll talk about at the end of this episode. But there's an awesome clip of me getting shots of you rowing, and I'm like right in front of you so that like the flywheel has got air going through going to my face. And in the video, I hear you say, "Don't get a shot of my ball sack."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you were zooming in on the twins. I was nervous.
It's nowhere near your ball sack in the shot.
Hey,
It was
look.
great. It was awesome because you were just like out of breath and you were like, "Hey, quit that shit."
I was rowing for my life, Niki.
You were. You were doing great.
Women have a lot of bad things they have to deal with when they're working out.
True.
A lot of bad things. Particularly after you have kids, this, like your body does weird stuff. Men don't have that many problems, but the one problem we can have if you're wearing the wrong underwear or shorts is, the Bush twins are going to make an appearance. It's not good.
I never have thought about it until then.
So yeah, I just wanted you to be careful.
I made sure not to include any compromising shots in our video blog.
I'm very pleased.
Yep.
Anyway, so then you go out then you go do another run, come in, you have to do a farmer's carry. And now this is one, I got to be honest, like, I thought I would smoke this. I do a lot of farmer's carry. I have good grip strength. I do them heavy. Like we don't screw around with them at the gym. Like, and we do long distance. Man, that killed me. It was so hard. At this point, I'm exhausted. Also, let me circle back to my tequila story earlier. It was at this point in the race, I quit sweating. That's when I knew things were not going well for me. Now, for anyone who's ever run a marathon or half marathon or done any kind of endurance workout and have become dehydrated, kind of your first sign is your body's not sweating anymore. And so I'm like, oh, this isn't good, right? And so that probably explains why I was so tired. It was when the chills came on later that I knew I was in a really bad place. But I kind of navigated my way through the farmer's carry. It's 200 meters. It's through like a snaking kind of pattern, to do it. So you're having to turn corners with these 253-pound kettlebells, which again aren't that heavy, but after you've already run a 5K, and done the other things, it's pretty exhausting. Yeah. So that was not fun. Go run another 1K, and then you come in and you have to do a 100-meter sandbag lunge. Now, this one hurt my feelings. I'm not gonna lie. It was just not fun. Here's why. 2 reasons. First of all, when I came in, I got the sandbag. It's only 40 pounds, which again is not super heavy by sandbag standards. And I've been training sandbags for the last 4 months, working up to the gauntlet. So I'm like, I'm going to crush this. I had literally texted my coach and said, I'm going to do the sandbag lunges unbroken and kind of blast through this. I'm all bravado the day before, apparently. All bravado.
That's okay.
So I tossed a sandbag on my shoulder, and the woman who's running that event, or the head judge at that event, literally shouts at me. She goes, "If you drop that off your shoulders, you're disqualified." And now I'm like, oh, because again, I did not read the briefing, so I didn't know this was part of it. I was kind of planning to go out, do some, drop the bag, do some, drop the bag, like get smart breaks. And now you can't drop the bag. And if you've ever had to hold heavy weight on your shoulders or in any position for an extended period of time, it is emotionally and physically draining. And I knew I'd be out there for at least 4 minutes, at least, Now, here was where my real problem came in, because I didn't read the briefing. Again, you're in one of those kind of like snaking patterns, but what they didn't, and there were white lines marking, I want to think it was like maybe every 10 meters or so.
Yeah.
What they didn't tell you is you don't have to lunge around the corners. So I probably did 20 more lunges than I needed to do. and nobody told me otherwise. And the judges that are on the course weren't telling me.
I
They
think
must
they
have thought,
just
man,
thought you were going for extra
yeah.
credit, man.
They're like, this guy just fucking loves lunges. Let's just let him
Yeah.
go. That's what they were thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? It's not fun. Um, Another 1K run, and then your final event is wall balls. Now, here was the problem. So the final event is out by the front door of this event, and remember at the beginning where I said there's an in and an out to all the other events. Well, no one told me that in order to get into the wall balls, it's a separate entrance. So I actually ended up doing an extra full lap to figure that out. So I didn't run a 1K. I ran a 1.5K, which really sucks in hindsight. Like I added
In
like an
fairness,
extra.
had we done the briefing, had we got the paperwork and the briefing, they
Yes.
would have told us.
Oh, I'm sure if I had done any kind of research beforehand, I probably would have figured it out, But anyway, so I did an extra half K run, and then you come in and do 100 wall balls. I'm not kidding you, Nikki. I don't know who my judge is. I should send him flowers. He should have no rep me 15 times. He didn't no rep a thing. I'm so tired, and I'm wearing running shoes, which I love, by the way. They're my new favorite shoes on the planet.
Yep.
But I'm wearing running shoes, and running shoes, as you know, the padding is far different in CrossFit shoes. And I have not done wall balls in running shoes probably ever, in a decade at least. And so I'm kind of rocking, like because my feet are in a bad position. And
Yeah.
so
And
the
they're
first three,
soft. The soles are soft.
yeah, and I'm tired on top of that. So I kind of missed like where I should be aiming on the target for at least the first 5. And he's just counting 1, 2, 3. And every time he's counting out loud, I'm like, God bless you. I love you, dude. I'm just going to keep
Love you
throwing here
so much.
until you say I can't anymore. And then Doug or Mo or somebody came up behind them like, hey, you got to throw to the higher target. I'm like, the hell I do. He's counting. And I just keep throwing,
And it was 100 wall balls.
It
No
was 100
joke.
wall balls, but to be fair, it was a much lighter weight. It was
Yeah.
a 13-pound ball for the men. So I did like a set of 20, and then a set of 15, and a few 10s, and then a final set of 20, and then I collapsed over the finish line at a really way slower time than I wanted. But
yeah, slower than you had expected, but
way slower than I expected.
But an excellent job nonetheless. You had big ambitions, but also had no idea what to expect. And what was your end up time?
It was like an hour 45. And to be fair against the time, not only did I lose significant periods of time from not knowing what I was doing, I was also screwing around on the course quite a bit. Like in the burpee broad jumps, I'm just talking to the judges for minutes at a time.
Taking
so
breaks.
what brings you here? They're just looking at me like I'm an idiot. Like, during my breaks, I'm like, hey, do a couple for me, would you? None of them had a sense of humor. One of them had a sense of humor. The rest of them just looked at me like I was an idiot. But so that was my event.
It was wonderful watching you because you did, honestly, you were moving at a good clip, and I know that it was really hard, and it was harder than you had expected, and it's just different. It's just a different type of training than we normally do, and I thought you crushed it, really.
I did have a few people notice me out on the course, so that was kind of fun and different.
Yeah.
And which because it's not a CrossFit event, I wasn't really expecting anyone to notice. And so I'm like running around, and some guy runs past me. He's like, hey, John, and gives me a fist bump. He's like, what event are you on? I'm like, I'm going into 7. I'm like, what are you going into? He's like, I'm going into 7. I'm like, when did you start? And he started like 20 minutes behind me. I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't asked.
No, there were so many CrossFit people. So many. And this is really what's fun. So we watched you go, and then we watched the elites go, and the elite 15 are just like another breed, just like an elite CrossFit. It's just those people are superhuman. They went through the entire course in like an hour. And they were lightning fast and did everything like masterfully, and they were really, really fun to watch. And it's cool because the entire event is kind of like, it's like a big empty hangar kind of, and they sort of like build a track around the outside, and all the events are laid out in the middle. And then for the elite competition, they condense it so that all the events kind of take place in the same little competition floor. And as the elites are running laps around the building, you're watching the event organizers
Right.
like change over the competition floor so fast so that when they come back in for their next event or their next, whatever thing that they're doing, it's a completely different competition floor. And it was really, really cool to see. And I love the Elite 15 men started like 25 or 30 minutes before the Elite 15 women. So there was quite a bit of crossover where you were kind of watching two events happen at once. And it was cool. Very cool. And then after we had a chance to watch them, I still had plenty of time before I was racing. So again, all day
Yeah.
I'm just shitting my pants. And we had a chance to walk around and talk to people and meet a whole bunch of different amazing folks who some people were or are CrossFitters who like literally just CrossFit every day and that's their only training, and they sign up for these events every so often to like check them out and just like see what their fitness can do for them. A lot of people were also CrossFitters who have sort of switched over, or they sometimes even switch over seasonally. We talked to people who they like to train HYROX for a part of the year, and then they like to do the open and train CrossFit for the rest of the year, or whatever it may be. And that was really cool. And a lot of the people that I talked to, one of them sticks out in my mind specifically. Is a CrossFitter forever, this gentleman who is actually in your division, John. And he explained to me that he ended up doing a whole bunch of HYROX races because a lot of the CrossFit movements that he has trouble with are a little bit more technical and mobility related oftentimes, right? Like he has a lot of trouble with overhead squats, has trouble with double unders too, but he can do all of the HYROX movements. And so the test for him becomes a lot more about fitness and a lot less about that skill work that he does
Right.
need to work on, but that can oftentimes be frustrating, maybe a little bit disheartening. So it just felt really accessible to him. And so him and his partner there had run like 4 or 5 races. And there's a really great interview with him in our video blog. So again, we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But you guys should go over there and watch it. It was really cool just chatting with people. There was a guy we talked to who like just beat cancer like 2 months ago, and he's running HYROX, like crazy, crazy people.
Yeah, there were tons of people like that. And it was really it was amazing how many people were there overall. I mean, thousands.
Mm-hmm. Thousands. Yeah.
I'm used to going to these CrossFit events, and it's usually the competitors and their families.
Yep.
And you'll have a few people watching, and but this thing was like it was packed like a semifinals for a CrossFit
Mm-hmm.
event. It was really interesting how many people, and people coming from all over. It wasn't just people that lived
Yeah.
in Chicago, like they're flying in for this thing.
Yeah, and all day. That's the other cool thing is like it felt kind of like an expo, kind of like regionals or
Yeah.
like a semifinal. You're right, because it was packed when you went first thing in the morning. I didn't go until 4 something in the afternoon, and there were still heats. The 4-person relay division didn't start until after all the doubles went, and it was like all day long. There's people, there's vendors, there's people in the stands, there's people just walking around. Like it was really fun to feel like you were a part of something really big. And that community element that oftentimes you get, like if you run a big race or if you go to an elite competition, that community vibe was definitely like palpable. Like you could feel it.
Yeah.
You could really feel it the whole time.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think there were, some good and bad with it. I think on the good side, they run heats all day long. And
Mm-hmm.
do you remember the increment? Was it every 20 minutes? Sorry, every 10 minutes?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it may be every 10 minutes. So you never, because there's always new heats coming in, you never feel like you're getting passed or running against other people. You're kind of running your own race. And so
Yep.
from a stress level, particularly after you're out there for an hour, it takes a lot of the stress off of you because
Mm-hmm.
you don't feel like you've got just people passing you constantly. And matter of fact, you're
Right.
passing people and it keeps you kind of mentally in it. So I thought that part was really unique and different. I think on the downside, it's run mostly by volunteer judges, so you have to be comfortable with the judging being really loose.
Well,
You know?
and to that point, and Mo talked about this a little bit on the episode we did with him. He's the event founder, and you guys should go back and listen to that if you haven't yet. They have very strict judging standards for the elites, right? Because those people are racing for titles and for prize money. And admittedly, the judging is much looser when it comes to the open divisions. That's not to say that if someone is capable of a movement that they won't hold you to it, but it's more to be welcoming and not alienating. That there are some people who really are not fit and they walk this whole thing and it takes them 4 hours.
Right.
And for that person, if they're not getting to the proper depth on their wall balls, but they sure as shit are going to stand there for 15 minutes and try to get 100 wall balls, they are not going to say, no, you can't do it, or no, you can't go on, or no, we're going to no rep you all day.
Man, you didn't have to
So,
expose me like that, Nikki. Jesus,
well,
man,
sorry.
so
So
bad.
I do like that, and that's sort of very much part of their culture. So to a point, I like it, but to a point also, yeah, as the sport grows and they have fewer volunteers and more people who sort of like have experience doing it, and more standards come into play, I'm sure that will also
Well, the
mature.
truth is, though, you don't really, there were only 1 or 2 events where you even needed a judge, like, because you can't cheat a farmer's carry. You just can't. You can't cheat the 1,000-meter row or the ski erg. You just need somebody to validate that you did it.
Mhm.
You can't cheat a sled push as long as you hit the distance. So it's like you really only need like 1 or 2 people making sure you make distance. You don't need a lot
Yeah.
of judges. Really,
Yep.
the only thing you needed someone really watching was the wall balls because of depth.
And the lunges, because
Yeah.
if you couldn't put the sandbag down, and also the burpees, because they have pretty strict burpee standards where you're not allowed to, like, your hands must replace your feet. You can't like
Right.
lean forward into a burpee. So I can see people
They were
having,
judging that. I thought they were judging pretty strict. Like I
yeah,
heard them, talking to people, shouting at people about that. Not mine because my burpees are just awesome, but
perfect.
everyone else,
Yeah.
they were shouting at. So
Yeah.
that part was
So
interesting, I thought.
yeah, I thought so too. And I had such a different experience from you, John,
Yes, you
because I
did.
went in the not mixed doubles, in the same sex doubles in the ruck division with Lauren Weeks, who came in third that morning for the women. By the way, let me just say this out loud. I use having an 18-month-old baby, toddler, whatever, as an excuse for not being fit. Lauren ran last year's finals, like championship, 8 months pregnant, and like did not come in last, right? So giant, she was giant, ran that race last year. This year, she's 7 months postpartum, won the European title, and came in third here in North America
How
3
much
weeks
time was
later.
between her 3rd place finish and her running with you? It wasn't long. It was
Like
like
less than 3 weeks.
no, no, no. When she ran and finished 3rd at the event we were at, and then she ran with you, it was like an hour. I mean,
How much? Yeah, like 2 hours, 3 hours,
at the
something like that.
most, like, it was
Right.
enough time, like, I was still at that point, 2 hours afterwards, I was up in my room crying in the shower, like, trying to get my life back together and figuring out how I was gonna get my pants back on to go downstairs, and she's, like, getting ready
Do it
to go
again.
r
Put on
to
a
go
weight vest.
put on a weight vest and do the harder version now,
Yep.
It was great.
So first of all, the vest was heavy to me. It was a 15-pound vest, which is heavier than women's vests normally in CrossFit. It was nice. It was snug.
It was a nice
Um,
vest, very
it
nice
was a
vest.
nice vest. It was a go rack. But I will say that just like in general, my experience was very different from yours, because I spent all day shitting my pants, being so scared that I wasn't going to be able to handle it. It was a lot, not easier, but a lot more doable than I thought that it was going to be. And for me, we both did the running together, and then we split the work. Then again, we had the vest on, so I don't really know, kind of like half of one, whatever, just doesn't have another. Um, I just hated running with the vest. I hated running with the vest so much, where like your first 1,000-meter run, your first 1K already sucked. Where I feel like when you came out of the tunnel, your first run, you're like, this is amazing. Let's see
Right.
how it goes. You don't really start feeling it until your third, fourth, whatever. That first run instantly was just like, it's hard to breathe. There's pressure on your chest. It's tough on your shoulders. So I just hated everything about running with the vest. And that was most of the race,
Mhm.
was running. So I I enjoyed myself. I had fun with Lauren. We chatted the whole time. That really got me through. We talked about everything, talked about mom stuff, talked about working out, all like everything you can imagine. She's amazing. We need to have her on the show. She's like 7 months postpartum, champion of HYROX, like got her nursing degree, like just crazy, crazy, amazing woman. We'll definitely have to have her back. And she pulled me through. But I truly think, number one, I'm dying to do this again because it was so much fun. I loved being a part of it. And now that I know that I'm capable of it, and I don't think I'm going to get rabbed out doing it because I'm unfit. Now I have like actual goals I would love to work toward. But number two, I don't want to do the ruck division again because I think I would truly enjoy myself. I think I would have so much fun feeling good on the runs that I'd be able to like push it more, and it would just be like a vastly different experience for me the next time around. And I would love to do another doubles, maybe mixed doubles. Maybe I can convince Matt to do it with me. Like I had a really, really good time, and it was hampered only by the vest. So take that out of the equation, and I think I found the type of event that I would want to redo year over year over year.
I love it how you and Lauren are like your running look great, by the way. And you
Thank
guys are
you.
out there running, you're talking about kids and life and family. And I'm just turning mine into an hour and a half AMRAP of complaining. Like that's all it was. You guys are smiling the whole time, just talking. Like the only time I ever saw you get kind of grumpy was on the sled push and you had a shoe malfunction.
Oh yeah, my
You
shoe
know,
fell off.
like a
Yeah.
shoe fell off and you're like, you could tell you were annoyed that your
I
shoe
was like,
came
this
off,
is
you know?
stupid.
Yeah. But otherwise,
Uh,
you were fine. And you're really downplaying your fitness. So say it aloud, Nikki. You won a gold medal. Like, here's what happened to us. I'm in the back. You went off to do an interview and you're
yeah.
just gone for like 30 minutes to the point that everyone I'm with, they're like, where's Nikki? And so I'm back there creating memes, putting your face on a milk carton and putting in the group chat,
Yes.
like, where did Nikki go? And they're all like amazed how quick I can come up with memes. So I'm, showing off. And
Totally.
and then Mo comes in. He goes like, "Oh, I found her." I'm like, "Where was she?" He's like, "She's on the podium." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, we had no idea she won a gold medal." I'm like, "Are you shitting me?" I'm like, "Are you shitting me?" He's like, "No." So we go
Oh,
running over there, and there you are, gold medal. Just hey, just
okay.
casually go out. A couple moms, just go win this thing.
Let me just caveat the shit out of that real quick. So we did come in first place in our division, which was same-sex doubles with the ruck. We came in first out of 3 teams.
First is first,
First is
Nikki.
first.
First is
First is
first.
first. And I will also caveat that by saying I did have the women's European champion on my team. So there's that. But I'm actually not even going to put too much weight on that because we truly went at my pace. Like Lauren, you are only as good as your slow person. And we split everything 50-50.
Yeah, you killed
So
it. You did great. That's
yeah,
my
yeah, we did
point.
really well. And I thought like it really was not like I'm gonna row 220 and she's gonna row 120. You know what I mean? It was like
Right,
I rode 220 and she rode like 2 because we were going at my pace.
right.
So and she's much fitter than I am, but it was mainly at my. They said that ahead of time when the guys were like, Lauren wants to take you through the race, but she promised to go at your pace. I was like, no shit.
Yeah,
Like
and
there's no option.
well, there's an option, and she did, like, to her credit, I've done workouts with games athletes before, and if you've never had the privilege of doing a workout with a games athlete, they usually try to make you puke, and they're real good at it too, by the way. They get you in that spin cycle, where you just can't
Mm-mm,
catch your breath,
mm-mm.
and, she's a CrossFitter, like, she's, been in the sport, and I think she's a regionals athlete, maybe, if I'm remembering
Yep.
right, so she's super fit, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And, to her credit, you could tell, she said to us, we're like, "Are you really gonna go do this race?" She's like, "Yeah, well, if I wasn't doing it, I'd be doing a 2-hour cool down anyway." I'm like, "2-hour
Mm-hmm.
cool down? Like, what are you who are you? Who does
Yeah.
that? What kinda
Yeah. She's
savage
done this
are you?"
before. She's done
Yeah,
it before. She said that. She was like, usually I'll do the race in the morning and then I'll do something, maybe the doubles or maybe whatever in the afternoon to cool down. She had never done the ruck
right.
before, which is why she wanted to do it that time. But no, it was yeah. So she was going at my pace. So we did crush it because I'm gonna take that one as a personal win.
Gold
But
medal, Nikki, gold
yeah, I
medal.
have a gold freaking medal, which is bananas because I spent like 3 days only terrified, and then it ended up going really, really well. And I think anyone who trains in CrossFit is fully capable. I think it's a different type of event, and I think it's a really fun test. And I personally, I I don't consider myself a runner, but under the proper conditions, I really enjoy running. I like it with a partner. I like it when it's outside in the summertime, and I like it like on my Peloton treadmill, listening to great music. So there are a few different ways that I really enjoy a running event, and I think that this partner situation is really fun. Maybe someday I'll do it solo, but the next one I'd like to do just partners again, but without a vest.
I'm doing it solo again. I can't live with my time or my placement. I can't live with it. I have too big an ego. I know it's
Okay.
shocking.
No, I think that's
Um,
great to know that about
as a matter of
yourself.
fact, it's a true story. I got back to Cleveland and I immediately messaged my coach, Jen, who you know, and I'm like, Jen, we got to talk tomorrow about HYROX. And she's like, all right. And so I roll into the gym. I had a meeting there anyway. And I grab a marker and I walk her over to the whiteboard and I'm like, here's what we're doing. And we plotted out I'm like, here's the goal. I'm doing HYROX again in June. I got to become a better runner. I've got to drop some weight because I'm a better runner when I'm lighter. And these events don't call for, mass, they call for speed.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm 52 years old, so I can't put 25 miles a week on my body and running, which is what you would need to do to get really good at an 8K. So we're going to have to work in some ergs and some rowing
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and some assault runner and some other things, but I need to get the equivalent of 25 miles a week on my body between now and then. And we got to change my nutrition. And so we worked it all out in about 5 minutes. And so that's my next goal is to
Yeah.
post a better time in June. New York City, here we come.
Yeah, New York in June, I think is John and I will be at that race. And this is really cool. Quick plug. HYROX is willing to give a discount to our listeners if anyone is interested in signing up for any North American race for the rest of the season. You can use code K and C10, like K ampersand C, the number 10, at checkout on HYROX.com. That's HYROX. And you can get 10% off your registration for any North American race for the rest of the season. We'll put that in the show notes too, so you don't lose it.
I thought
I
they
thought that
ran a
was really
great
nice of
event.
them.
I mean,
Yes.
I know they brought us out. I told them when they offered to do it, I'm like, look, I'll come out, but I don't put my name on anything that I can't give an honest review. And they're like, we want you to give an honest
Yes.
review.
Yes, they did say that.
And I thought it was well run. It was on time, which for me is a huge thing. Like I hate
Yeah.
events that go late. It just pisses me off to no end. I can't stand it. I thought the way they treated the athletes were really good. Like, it's just a bunch of amateur athletes for the most part. I thought it was well organized for where you keep your stuff. And like, it was the venue was good.
Mhm.
Vendor Village wasn't overwhelming, and it had a real good community spectator vibe, which were all things I really liked. My critiques, like I said before, that the judging was a little weird, or at least different than what I'm used to, but it actually kind of reduced stress. So I guess it's kind of a plus and a minus to some degree. And I didn't look up the info before, but I talked to a few people who also said that the info is kind of hard to find online. And like, if you haven't run one before, your first time is a little weird anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a critique that maybe it could be clearer, but maybe we're helping with that by doing this.
Yeah.
But overall, I saw a lot of smiling faces.
Yeah.
Like even the people standing in line waiting to get their ankle chips, like, and that's a good sign. There were not a lot of complaining, and I've been to plenty of CrossFit events where you hear a lot of complaining.
Mhm.
So I really liked it, and I do think for those of us that are competitive by nature, now I have I have one more hobby.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll have to sell a few guitars to get good at this, but I do think like it does give me something like, all right, I know how I stack up against CrossFitters, and
Yeah.
my stack ranking on this was lower than I am by percentage in my same age group. And so I'm like, well, can I get to the top 10% of this age group? Like, am I able to
Mm.
become a good enough runner and hit the events that I can improve my time that much? Or am I just good at muscle ups? Am I a better skill work athlete?
Yeah.
And that's maybe why I'm okay at CrossFit. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a good question.
Yeah, but it gives me something to test. It's another test. And I think
Yes.
that's kind of cool.
I
So,
love that. I love everything about it. Just it's really good vibes, man. It's good
yeah.
vibes all around. And something that we did that was really cool while we were there is we had a bunch of video that we captured and we put together. I'm calling it like a video blog, kind of. It's pretty informal, but it's our first real like live show that we've ever done together on location at an event. And we're going to upload that to our YouTube page. And so if you listened to this and you're interested in like seeing more from the event and hearing some really, really cool stories from people who have run it, from participants, from the elites, some great footage of John and me running the race, please head over to our YouTube and check that out, because it was just an experience. And I truly think that until you see it, it might be a little bit difficult to fully comprehend. So I hope that we give you a better picture via video and
Well,
via
and two things. I'll
live
drop it in
blog.
the show notes, so they should be able to click a link in the show notes to this on the audio channels to see it,
Sweet.
and I'll also drop it back into this live stream, into the show notes for this, so you'll have it on both. The other thing that was really funny for me watching it back, Nikki, and I think you'll appreciate this. As soon as it comes on and we do our immediate intro, I'm looking at it going, man, you can tell which one of us has been on camera and which hasn't, because you are so comfortable from a camera. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
I don't know what to
Where
say.
should I be looking? I don't know where the camera, like you're looking right at the camera and making great contact. And I'm just like looking anywhere but the camera. I'm just like, my ADD was kicking in or something. I don't know, but it's like, man,
All good. All
need a
good.
coach.
We're a little awkward. We are who we are. It is
You
what
got
it
to coach me
is.
through this stuff. It was,
Got you.
yeah.
Next, we just have to do it more. Send
I'm
us to
never,
more events, everyone. Let's
I'm
do
not,
it.
I'm never going to get on the CrossFit Games broadcast though. Someone's going to see that and like, who is this dipstick that Nikki's working with? What?
No.
No wonder this guy does memes. He's terrible in the air.
It's not like that.
Oh, it's pretty funny. Actually, I had a good laugh at it. So I didn't listen to all the audio though as I was downloading it. Did you upload the part about my balls? Did you put that in?
No, I took that right out for you. I did not show your balls, nor did I keep that audio in. You're welcome.
They would have been the stars. They would have been the
It's
stars.
true.
That's all I'm
Like we
saying.
could have made that the thumbnail. What kind of show is this? No, I actually cut a lot out.
Like,
I cut out that guy's squeaky chair at the bar.
you're like, man, John's got a double chin. No, it was a fun weekend. It was fast. But huge thumbs up. I'm looking forward to New York. I can't wait to go.
Same. I'm stoked. I'm really excited to not run with the best.
Yeah. Well, for the record, we're not leaving CrossFit, but we're going to
oh my God, no.
And we'll cover a little of both for a while. And I think we'll get some there's some really interesting stories in this community, and we'll definitely have Lauren on.
Yeah.
She has a great story, and there's some snippets of her in that video that you put together. And so you don't really get her full story, but I think you get a gist of, why she's such a cool person.
Yeah.
And there's a few others we need to get on from there that I think, people would want to hear, because it's actually absolutely applicable to what we do.
Totally. Yeah. I think I'm going to try to convince a bunch of people at my gym to run it with me, because we were talking about doing a run club in the spring and finding a race to train for. And New York in June is pretty close to us. So that would be really fun, a really fun way to translate our skills over.
If you go win another gold medal, I'm kicking you off the show.
I 100% will not. That will never happen again. That was a fluke, but I have the medal.
You should have worn it on the episode. If I had won,
I should
guarantee I would be wearing it right now. I would have worn it to
about
work.
it.
I'd be wearing it every day.
I have not unpacked my suitcase yet. That's the life I'm living right now.
There you go. Love it.
Don't judge me.
All right.
Anyway, I'm going to go put my baby to bed.
All right. Well, super fun as always. Great to see you.
Likewise.
And for everyone listening, we'll be back next week. Chat with you guys soon.